if you're all right, we could probably get started.
Yeah, let's
We have
start.
quorum of the committee,
Yeah.
so we're
Yeah.
good.
So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna take the lead here for Brian Gilbert as he is down. It's kind of opening night, so he wanted to be down there to be with the games. And certainly if we have any questions, I can go tag out. Saul, you wanna come up? And I have a rubric and an agenda. Pass that down to him. So probably the biggest thing that we need to look at this evening is we really wanted to highlight the excitement around our golf club. So we asked the coaches to come in. You guys want to kind of just introduce yourselves, tell them a little bit how it went this year. We had a lot of what I would say interest in a small school. Kids really had a great time with it. So tell us a little bit about the season.
All right, so my name is James Steffi. I'm the father, and I coached the golf club this year. We had a couple members here, Chase, Dominic, Cole, and it was a great season. A lot of interest. We had 14 students that we signed up, and then a lot of kids that wanted to sign up after the fact. It was a little late in the season, so they're looking forward to next season. I believe every student that played this year showed interest in coming back next year, and we even got, my stepson and my son are both in 8th grade, moving up to 9th. They've shown interest. They all have friends that are showing interest, so we're looking at another full team possibly, or club if depending how everything goes.
Yeah.
We do.
No, I was just gonna say, it really was a successful club, and one of the big things tonight would be to get kind of the board's will to kind of pursue it as a PIAA sport.
Yeah.
So, we did that in the past with girls wrestling, we looked at it with flag football, so now we're looking at it for golf. And we really think it'd be something that would benefit the community, but district and everything with regards to Palisades. So that's our big thing tonight.
Practicing over in Milford, right?
Yes, we had practices over at Oak Hill Country Club.
Yeah.
We also had a few matches there. We played a match at Steel Club, and Chase actually made it into the Colonial League Championship. So
Cool.
he got to play there. That was over at Steel, no. Over. Oh, Bethlehem Country Club, yeah.
Okay.
So it was a big deal, and we got to play Salisbury, well, at the Colonial League Championship, we got to play every school, but we hosted Salisbury and played Southern Lehigh. We played over Steel Club against Saucon Valley and Homer.
Yeah.
But Penn Argent.
I think the best thing that came out of it was representation of the school. Was Oak Hill's had some poor experiences in the past with schools taking advantage of too many kids coming, how they treated the course. And we interacted a lot with the members there throughout the season, and so did the kids. And we met with their board at the end of the season, and they were very appreciative of how we worked with them and the representation of the school to it. In fact, enough where they've offered that up to us as an opportunity moving forward again. And that has not happened with all schools.
Yeah, that's what my
That's what I was
question was,
gonna
are they,
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, we
and
didn't want to
one of
put the cart before the horse, but we also had to kind of bear understanding that it's not easy just to find a golf course. And honestly, most of the teams that came to meet us, they don't have a privilege of an opportunity to work with a club. Most of them use public courses. We are one of the few, besides Saucon and Steel Club, that actually had a club that's been willing to partner with the school, which is a great representation, and not for us, is how the kids were and the boys were there this year.
Good job.
okay, yeah, good job.
So they.
Is it all boys or is it mixed?
It can be
Yeah.
mixed. Only
Yeah.
only boys signed up this past year.
Okay,
But it's open to anybody. Again, they agreed to partner with the Palisades this coming year. And Lehigh University has a practice facility, a driving range, chipping area, and putting area. They agreed to partner with Palisades as well for discounted buckets and go forward with that.
Okay. So part of the process is we have a rubric. Hopefully you all got a copy of the rubric to kind of go through the process with vetting it as to moving forward for a PIAA sanctioned sport. So the first three things there: is there enough student interest and commitment with students? We really believe so. They really had a great showing with 14. Only 8 compete at a time. And it is open to girls and boys. But the interest is there. I think that these guys, the coaches have explained that, but even the students will tell you the interest is there within the district. So that, I talked it over with Brian. I would say that's really a yes. In terms of competing with other sports, it does happen in the fall season, but really this year it went off without a hook and students didn't have to split their time.
Real
They
quick,
were
I'd like to
dedicated,
add,
yeah.
so the regular season, 80% of the matches that they participate in are in August before school starts. So there's only, unless they make it into league championships or districts or states, there's only the first 2 weeks of school where it might possibly interfere with a soccer. But I already talked to the high school soccer coach, and he's all on board with making it work out. Because my son is interested in both, so.
Okay.
So we have to work through some of that,
Yeah.
and there's time, right? PIAA,
Yep.
there's certain times and in terms of how much students can do. So we have to work through that. In terms of the sustainability, golf is a pretty individualized, independent sport, right? So most of the Colonial League, I would probably say all of the Colonial League and throughout Pennsylvania, there aren't necessarily middle school teams or elementary teams. So the feeder teams, it's really about how they're inspired. I know the coaches also talked about possibly having a possible camp that might help them with that.
Real quick, I was at an event at Citizens Bank Park called Upper Deck, and the Golf Association of Philadelphia was there. I was speaking with him. They have a program where they will come in, each individual school, they will donate a kit worth about $1,000. They will link you up with a PGA professional to teach the teachers how to teach it. So basically a gym class in elementary school.
Okay.
They give them plastic clubs and tennis balls to teach them, but they teach the basics, and that could be a good feeder into.
Is that the gap?
Yeah,
program?
Evolution.
So, and that's all donated. There's no charge. And they actually, as far as feeder, there's also a program that's called Golf in Schools. There's another program that they're with called Kids in Golf. And there's local courses. They're trying to get more local courses to this specific area, but they're within driving distance of courses where kids can play if they sign up for the Golf Association of Philadelphia. All these kids play these courses for $5. So it's very reasonably priced and gets them out there playing practice. Wish I had that.
So working with the coaches and, student interest and talking with Bridget and Brian, unless there's something within the extracurricular committee that you guys think differently, we are hoping to kind of move past that red line because it really is there. It's the yes. It is a PIAA sport. The Colonial League has, Brian had a meeting this morning. Basically, if we have a team, they're going to get us a schedule. Like they're going to bless us as being part of the Colonial League. And then we'll have a full schedule through the Colonial League as long as it's board approved. In terms of the financial commitments, there of course would be some travel expenses depending on the scenario. We have our van. We have our van, the coaches, if we wanted to take more students, because sometimes only the top 8 that compete, but I know we had 14 this year. If more could go to compete, it might need a school bus, but there might be some situations where it would be the van. So there's certainly some cost related to that. I know some minor costs might be some hats, polos, Palisades gear, right? These guys have talked a little bit about possible sponsorship.
Yeah, there was a member and this attributes to the personality and respect that the kids showed on the course. There was a member there that potentially offered to sponsor us for polos and hats for next season. Palisades just has to reach out to him.
I'm sure Brian will get in touch with you guys and we can talk that through. And then when we look at things that we've done in the past, like flag football, wrestling, essentially we would, of course, have to pay a coach's salary. And to make it equitable with what we've done in the past, that would be less than $10,000 for a head coach and an assistant coach. similar to something like tennis.
Yeah.
We, of course, would be posting coaches, but we have some interest, I think, already for coaches. So that's certainly something that could be available. Certainly those things get posted out, but I know there's interest there. And in terms of the facilities, Oak Hill Country Club, again, has already kind of said we could use their facilities for next season. So it really seems like when you look at what we have with the rubric, we think about the different sports that we've added the last couple of years with wrestling, flag football. I just, we really like the blessing of the board to move forward to proceed with, rather than being club, next season would be PIAA sanctioned sport.
Yeah, make sure fiscal knows to add it to the budget for the coaches.
I know I talked with Brian a little bit about that today, and he had worked through some of that, but certainly I'm sure he'll work with the fiscal department and, it was something where he did a preliminary, I think, and there was already a request for slightly more. He thought it would fit within the budget with what he already requested. So
this is an additional EDR?
Correct. It'd be a new EDR.
I have a question, gentlemen, and perhaps you said it, but I just missed it. Golf clubs, children have to bring their own?
Yeah, that's all.
How's that work?
Now, I mean, me personally, if I were to coach, I do have extra sets for newcomers that are just interested and may not be fully vested into it yet. We both have extra sets that we've upgraded throughout the years, but the clubs are normally on the student too.
So
And that's pretty
part of the students have to pick up the package when
Yeah.
they get full of it. And what's the normal cost of a club set, I guess, for a beginner student?
For a beginner set, you probably get a whole beginner set for $400.
Okay.
I was gonna say 300 to 500 if they wanted to. But
Yeah.
all of our, we actually were happy to see that every kid this year, we were worried about that actually at first practice, and everybody came with clubs, whether they got them donated from relatives of their own. Some of them are older sets, but you can play with anything.
Sure.
We did, both of us, donate clubs to kids who were starting out for the first time. By the mid-season, they had the bug enough to go and ask parents for investment into it, whether they be used sets or not.
I have a set to donate.
And I think if there was that need,
I
we would
found
do
a set on
that
the
too.
golf course
Yeah.
That somebody was.
I picked it up for free off somebody's lawn, so.
You
can add it up for free. Out front for free.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but we had that, we have the commitment with the board, we have that kind of.
I never used it.
student interest.
I never used it.
Dust them off.
We would definitely ask that. There's lots of,
Yeah.
there's people that would be willing to donate for sure.
Right. And then just out of curiosity, what would be if a student is interested, never played before, just walk me through how you'd start it up just to get them going.
4 of those this year.
Yeah,
Great, love
yeah. So basically, teaching the basics is mostly about hand-eye coordination, just almost like baseball. It's a similar swing. Chase can attest to that. You gotta adjust a little bit, but it's very much about focus and a mental thing. So the biggest thing was a lot of the kids that get frustrated when they hit a bad shot. But the smile on their face when they hit a good shot, I'm like, okay, we got to focus on that. And it is a sport where even the best person screws up, so they have to understand that. And they got better throughout the year. We had Micah Steinson, never played before, and he was in the top 8 every week. Again, it's an athletic thing, but at the same time, anybody can do it, and that's what makes golf such a great sport.
The first thing we did is apologize to their parents for a 40-year career having them learning.
Very expensive hobby.
But honestly, that was our first goal when we met with them and learned who had the ability and not. And a lot of times, James and I would stay back with the newcomers and send off the ones that had played before out ahead, because then it's about learning a lot more than golf. And that's where we focused our time, because at the end of the day, if they continue with golf, that's great. There's a lot of things about integrity and other behaviors that are on the golf course that are way more important than the game. And we had a lot of parents thank us for that and the focus of our attention on those things. I mean, James and I aren't here because we do have kids in the program. Eventually, we hope they do. We both have kids in the school. But none in the program, even for our first year, trying to conduct and make this something for the future.
Great. One more question. How many times a week do you all meet to practice?
It's a good question. We wish we could do more.
So, yeah, Oak Hill, this past year, they allowed us on average 2, sometimes 3 times a week to practice on the course. I would like to incorporate the Oak Hill practice time on the course with the Lehigh University to kind of counterbalance it, to make it, 4 days a week possibly. And, if you have events coming up, tournaments coming up, okay, let's add in a practice, optional practice type thing on the weekend. Because Lehigh University, it's Multi-Hill Golf Learning Center. They are open 7 days a week. So that is, it's always an optional practice. And
So 2 to 3 times a week.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The other thing that helped too was there was 3 gentlemen on the team that signed up as junior members to Oak Hill over the summer. And a lot of times their parents would drop them off. They could play as much as they wanted. And that's a very cost-effective thing as a junior member. I believe, Chase, you knew one of them, I think it was $110 a month for them to sign up as junior members. And when they found out we had a team, they signed up. And actually, that helped us with connective to the thing because that told the Oak Hill team they have future members through our program. So it's beneficial both ways.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So.
So how does the committee feel
I'm
about?
fine. Are you okay?
Absolutely. I think the gentleman brought up a great point. I don't play golf. They say it's for people for 50, 55 and over. I'm not there yet. Whatever. But I do know one of the major aspects of the game is integrity. And just because no one can see you, what you're doing out there, you're expected to do the right thing at any given time. And I think that's amazing. It's an amazing quality. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
So I'm just curious, gentlemen, when you have your practices at the Oak Hills Country Club, somebody mentioned Milford. I'm assuming in Milford Township?
No.
New Jersey. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying
No
that.
problem.
So I'm from Milford, well, I grew up in Milford Square, so I'm thinking Milford Township, but okay, so you're Milford, New Jersey. All right. How do the students get there?
That would be the bus or the van.
From the school?
Right.
So is that how they got there this year?
No.
No.
That is not how they.
This
got there
year,
this year.
actually only one student needed a ride from school. The rest of the students were upperclassmen that could drive or give each other a
Or
ride.
parents.
Or parents. In the summer, when we had practices in August, they were just, like any other sport, they were just dropped off by parents or they drove themselves.
And we volunteered some opportunities for them to get home too if they needed after the practice was over.
So in the future, when it's actually sanctioned, will that be on school, that's for transportation?
Right,
That's what we were talking about.
That's some of the busing or using the van, as well as to going to matches and things that could be used as well. Depending on the student, sometimes they might still prefer to get that ride. They might not want to be lugging their clubs to school with them.
And when I think of that too, driving to the golf course, that's not a facility that we're maintaining. So to me, it's a small cost of, that transportation to the location as opposed to, Lehigh has an amazing, golf facility, but to me, it's a very cost effective way to add a sport that has a lot of interest and support. We just need some transportation. What's that?
Minimal cost.
Minimal cost, yeah.
It's an expensive sport,
It
but the
is.
minimal cost on
For the district.
Yeah.
school at this point.
Yeah,
Do we have a sense when last time the school had a sanctioned PIAA golf team?
We had
we've had golfers.
No, you
we
did.
had a section.
You had a sanctioned golf team back in the 70s and 80s. I had classmates that,
Well, that was a trick question.
I was told we did not.
I know no one here on the board.
Jim?
Jim was not in the crowd that played golf, I can tell you that for a fact.
I can't hit it perfectly.
I don't even remember.
I'm in it down or missing it altogether.
I was told this would be the first, but
Yeah,
We
so,
I wasn't around here in the.
Yeah, you
80s.
can look in the yearbooks and you'll see the team put together back in the 70s and 80s. Rex Hoover, I think Mr. Adams there might remember that name. He was on the team. Rex Hoover? Yeah, he was,
Might have been.
I think he actually placed locally, or regional.
Oh, yeah.
He went on the states. So we had a few, and a couple of them took it on at Lehigh. We had Les Schumann and another gentleman that went to Lehigh on full scholarships, played golf for Lehigh.
All right, there you go.
It's history we weren't aware of.
Golf is a readily available sport for scholarships, you know,
Yes.
especially female golfers and male golfers. There's a lot of scholarships out there.
My son played golf at RIT and didn't have the opportunity here, but he uses it every day in his life
Business,
now with
yeah.
business. And it absolutely, as you expressed about what's out there.
We've made a lot of older siblings jealous.
I'm sure.
Deals that happen out in the golf course, and when you learn that, it's a good thing.
So I want to thank the committee. I'm really excited about this. I'm always excited when we're able to add opportunities for our kids. We have adults in the community that are excited to serve as coaches, and then there's a lot of student interest. So thank you both for taking this on as a club
Yeah, thank
initially. Your success has led us to this meeting here. So I'm thrilled about that. And Brian's not here, but earlier, probably last spring, beginning of summer, Brian Gilbert was sharing this, and then it became, he did the work, but the two of us talking, okay, well, where are they going to practice? Because that's the most difficult part. And he was committed to finding a home and work to make this happen. So when I see him, I'll thank him too if he wanders in. If not, I'll pass it along tomorrow.
So that's moving right along because we have a lot more, mostly informational.
Thank you.
There are also you guys are more welcome to stay, but if you want to take the moment to go, you guys can go. So we're all finished with that
Thank
part.
you so much.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Well, we have a wrestling overnight
Yeah.
trip to talk about. Thank you.
Also, part of board policies, when trips are overnight, we bring it to, of course, the board to review. So there's 2 trips scheduled for wrestling. They're really exactly the same trips that we've been doing. Probably the Williamsport, the Howdy Duncan has probably been at least 5 years, maybe more. Then with the girls, Beast of the East, we've been doing that a couple of years, even prior to having them as a sanctioned PIAA sport here. So the boys are headed out to Williamsport this weekend. And then they're also looking, that's called the Top Hat. The Howdy Duncan is something they've done at least 5 years. That's December 19th and 20th. King of the Castle down in Delaware. Also been reviewed here a number of times, probably more than 5 years, the 29th and 30th of December. The girls are Beast of the East, and that's a pretty prestigious. You have to be invited to that, is my understanding in the past. And that's also in Delaware, 12/18 through 12/19. So I know the busing, they're going to be using the school van. That's the request, is to be using the school van for, I know for the boys. I saw that request come through. So the paperwork, of course, Rich Heffernan helps with that. Yeah.
When they use the school vans, do they use craft drivers or do?
Approved, they have to be vetted with insurance, but they're approved drivers. So in this case, it's likely going to be a coach, though.
One
of our coaches.
Okay, so we're not paying the.
No, it'll be one of our coaches.
How big is the van? 12?
15,
I think it's 12. Well, it's up to 12, and in this case, there's 3 coaches going. So
So they'll
the
drive.
request is
Somebody's
8
gonna
students and 12, 12 coaches. So I think it is a 15-person van. But we usually plan for 12 athletes and 3 coaches. So that's here as well. So hopefully I can answer some questions. I'm told to text Brian if you have some questions that I can't answer. So
Oh, this is every year you do this.
Yeah,
This is
it's a pretty
great.
regular.
Yeah, this is great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Beast of the East is at least last 2 years. Again, we have to be invited to that. It's pretty prestigious for our girls to go to that. But Howdy Duncan and King of the Castle, that's quite a few years now.
If I remember, they did.
Well,
Yeah.
they did do well. Yep.
And they're in Delaware, the Howdy Duncan and King of the Castle. And then just a recap for the fall season, and just to give you a little bit of heads up on the winter season. So Girls tennis finished 9-3. We hosted Saucon Valley for the first ever home district team match. Did very well for individuals, leagues, and districts. Field hockey finished 8-10, which is an improvement from last year. So they're looking forward, of course, to next season. They're hoping to make leagues and districts, although they made leagues and districts, and that's a huge step for the program. They're hoping to go further next year. Girls soccer, 13-1 regular season. They lost to in the Colonial League finals against Northwestern Lehigh, which was a defending state champ. I believe they lost at the next round or in the first round states. They lost to Allentown Central Catholic in the semifinals. Boys soccer 14-3 lost to Northwestern Lehigh, again defending champs and state champs in the Colonial League semifinals. They lost the district finals in Northwestern Lehigh, made the state playoffs and lost to Devon Prep. Football 7-3, they lost to Northern Lehigh in the district first round. In overtime, Jack Trickell, Lincoln Cook broke school records in passing yards and receiving yards. Silas Day also earned a full scholarship to Lehigh University. And also the following were later named first team all-league. Lincoln Cook for wide receiver, defensive back, Silas Day, tight end, defensive end, Max Werner, fullback, linebacker. Silas Day was a co-defensive player of the year in the Colonial League. On to winter sports. They're, off fast and furious. Boys basketball at the middle school, we had 27 athletes signed up for boys basketball. Girls basketball is at 22. Girls wrestling 7, boys wrestling 8. At the high school level, boys basketball kept 22. Girls basketball is 15. Girls wrestling is away tonight versus Palmerton. They have 10. And boys wrestling is also at Palmerton. They have 16 signed up. Also wanted to highlight the unified sports. They finished their successful fall strength and conditioning season. The bocce ball season is going to be starting within the next week. And our students are excited to compete here. There are some home matches on January 28th and February 4th. And finally, as this comes up a lot, I know in my neck of the woods in Nazareth, we're no longer allowed to have cash available. Everything is done through hometown ticketing. Northwestern Lehigh football, my brother-in-law is the coach there, one of the coaches there. They're playing in the state finals this Saturday. They won last year, so we're looking to go that. Of course, everything is done online. But the District 11 PIAA update is that the House passed legislation that to make cash an acceptable form of payment for admission to all school-sponsored events in Pennsylvania.
That was
Some
in
of
the
our
school code.
schools, yeah,
Was
some
that
of
in
our
the school code?
schools, many schools across the Commonwealth are going to be making some changes.
Including the PIAA,
Yeah.
because you would walk to your postseason
Yeah.
games and the.
Yeah, all the
QR code would
District
be
11,
there.
everything. yeah.
District 11 was all
All
cashless.
cashless. So I think that's a win for everybody, because even myself, when I want to go to a game, it's like, I didn't go and do it ahead of time. I want to just
Right.
pay at the gate. And then to pay at the gate, you have to do a QR code
Yep.
and so if you don't have all that. Anyway, I think that's a really great move so that it's not really depriving anybody and who might not have that technology.
An additional fee when
Yeah.
Mhm. That's probably where it originated.
Yeah.
So they didn't let them do that.
Or even, with credit cards, people prefer to use cash. So that was some new news that came out, and that, I believe, takes us to the end of the agenda. And we have 3 minutes to spare.
So I'd
Yes.
just like to clarify, the committee recommended what? Is the golf thing going to fiscal or going to the full board?
I think it has to go to the full board,
It
right?
has to go to the full board, is my understanding, but of course, Brian will discuss it with fiscal. I know that he checked on his budget. He shared with me that he had increased his budget slightly. And he believes it's gonna be it will be within the budget with what he budgeted for.
So if
So
I'm not
he did-
mistaken, it'll go to fiscal first, then we bring it up to the board, but this is for 26, 27.
Correct.
So
Yes.
Yeah.
it's nothing to do with this fiscal year.
So it's not spring.
No, but aren't we working for the budget? working on the budget for
We
26,
are,
27?
And-
Okay,
but
so
that's for next fiscal year.
But
But
it,
it's good for discussion for now.
correct, and it is
Okay.
included in the budget that was just presented on Monday.
Yeah.
So in the athletic budget, that supply line was $12,000 and it went up to $14,000 to account for golf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So
fine.
he included the, what he believed would be the cost for golf, as well as, there's some other things with the salaries, but he also, that's a little bit different budget
Okay.
things, but.
So spring
Well-
will stay club.
I think it could.
We'll get to watch
The
that.
spring, there is
Do you
no
want
golf in the
fiscal or
spring.
go right? 'Cause
It's
you
just in the
already
fall, which start in
Funding.
August of next year.
Well-
Oh, okay.
Anything to do with sports like this does always goes through fiscal, does it not? Oh, no? Because when it came up for if I'm not mistaken, when Brian Gilbert came with Rich Heffernan for the.
Flag football?
Yeah,
So
flag.
that timing was a little bit different. So we have.
They're gonna be this spring, they're gonna be at full
So
spring.
we're,
Mhm,
we're in good shape. This is just part of the bigger budgeting process because
Okay.
you're talking about it before.
Okay.
Right.
That one was, the budget was approved.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we're
spring.
trying to
Right,
add.
but.
Yeah, trying to add it.
If I'm not mistaken, in that instance for flag football, we took from Paul to give to Peter so
We
they
did.
could play this year, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Got it. In this case, we wouldn't be doing that, so we're hoping to plan ahead for.
So what I'd recommend
fall.
is, this would be a motion on your December 17th agenda for consideration, along with the overnight field trips. That's what I heard, and I'm emailing to Dina.
That sounds
Okay, yeah.
So I would like to suggest that we also have it on the agenda for the fiscal meeting on Monday, the 15th. There's a couple of questions and things that I would like to ask for overall view of all the athletic EDRs that we have at the high school level, and how many different things are available for conversation.
So I'm going to stick with Dr. O'Connell. We'll bring it up for Wednesday. I don't think fiscal needs to touch this, but if you want to bring up your discussion during the board meeting, have at it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, all those things are posted within the collective bargaining
Yep.
agreement as well. So. With this, any other discussion? Yeah.
In reference to that, do we have a document in one place to kind of, we can take a look at all the extracurricular activity and
Yes.
kind of a breakout cost on one document as opposed to having to look at multiple places, so you get a sense of.
Within the collective bargaining agreement, the EDRs are set there for coaches.
Right, so is there a,
That's just athletic. What about all of the?
That's also, the
It's all in there.
non-athletic
I
EDRs
believe
are
that's also in the
that's
collective bargaining
absolutely
agreement.
in the collective bargaining agreement.
so do we have is there a document that exists, one page or two page document that has all the stuff in one
Yeah.
place?
That's right.
Is it accessible?
Yeah, it's in
To a
the,
layperson?
You might have to do a request to know. Right to know. Right
It's
to
in there.
know, because it's part of the collective bargaining agreement.
there-
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah, but that's what he's talking about, not having to go to all of those. visits.
You could, right to know to have a copy of the.
Or
Collective bargaining.
Collective bargaining.
You can have a gentleman's conversation that isn't something that could be proposed, not a big deal. So I think it would be something.
I don't think it's
none
anything
of them are a big
private.
deal, yeah.
Oh, it's not a big deal.
No, it's not private. It's right within, I don't know the pages, but it's right within there. It's right under, I go to it all the time, because I don't have a memory, yeah.
I don't think it's one document, but
It's in the collective bargaining agreement on some multiple
I'm sure it's
pages.
just multiple
Yeah,
places,
yeah, yeah.
but again.
But it should all be covered right in there. I know coaches, there's a list of what is available and what the pay is,
I could spin that around, and give you some kind of township jargon about something like that, so.
so. If you have an interest, you want to send an email, I'm sure we could get it for you right away, send it right back in an email as a PDF. We just have to take it out of that document. But it's all listed there because it is bargained by the teachers. Now, something like this, we would be making a decision with Brian Gilbert, and I'm sure we'd have to talk to the union to see that it's comparable. We were thinking comparable to like girls' tennis and how that's paid.
Mhm.
So. Another question?
I think what Jim is asking is more, not necessarily EDRs, but just a list of the extracurricular activities, athletic and non-athletic, And just a list of all of that, including intramural and, everything. I don't think there's any one place you can go to find
Isn't there
that.
a collective bargaining agreement
If it's
there?
paid, it is cited in the collective bargaining agreement, but I don't disagree. We do have other things that go on
I think
that
that's.
are yearly type things.
Those outdoor media.
Yeah, like for example, we have something this year with Girls on the Run at the middle school, and we call it Heart and Soul. That's not paid, that's a volunteer thing.
And
And,
also all of your elementary, there's elementary club.
Right.
Some of that
And-
includes transportation. and-
again, there is a non-athletic EDR.
So those are two different documents still,
Right.
but that's why I have to go back and look, because I.
They're in, if it's
There's a
paid,
document.
if they receive a stipend, it's in the collective bargaining agreement for all athletic and non-athletic.
I'm sitting there. I don't belong in the next
You're
committee. Thank you,
switching
Dr. Span. I
Yeah,
appreciate you very
sure.
much.
Yeah, I guess.
Appreciate you
We're
entertaining
gonna
our
do that.
questions.
That's that.
Meeting
On to the
adjourned.
next meeting.